Howdy y'all, it's your favorite trainer with a belt buckle. Today we're going to take you through an example of what it's like to train a morbidly obese client. If you want to become a successful personal trainer anywhere in the world, our level 1 certificate will get you any gym. Here we have 2 Equinox instructors. We have Megan, Dean, Santa Monica, and Berkeley. And they're going to take you through how they train their clients who are morbidly obese. I talk about this in my book, How to Become a Successful Personal Trainer. These classes are live and recorded every Tuesday. You get to ask questions to trainers who are doing what you want to do. All starts with showing up. Let us know what you think. Have a great day, y'all. Keep smiling. Woo-hoo! So we got the 2 stars, Megan with an H, and then Dean with a D, in Northern and Southern California. And Megan's rocking the hat today. Does that mean it's a good hair day, bad hair day, or just wanted to be different?
Bad hair day, obviously.
Okay, nice. So for those that are just joining us, we have weekly calls. These are offered for the online interns, part of the $25 and $100 tier. Getting access to people who are doing ultimately what you want to do is really valuable. So we have a template that we like to go through, but use this time to ask them questions. They're here to help guide you and tackle some of those fear-based questions that you have. We recently just had an intern hired with our level 1 in Houston, Tyrus, and it's a really cool story because now you guys don't have this, I don't think, in your guys' locations, but they have what they're called guides. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, the guided hours.
Yeah. So do they have that in Berkeley or?
I've actually only done a couple. Sometimes people take it through workouts, some people just tour. But yeah, we do have occasional guided tours where basically it's like the membership advisor will take them through kind of what the pitch is, and then if they're interested in personal training, they'll set them up with the personal trainer kind of right then and there, and just take them through a basic easy workout, and that's kind of your time to shine and get a sale.
Yeah. So I never heard this before, but Tyrus was second day on the job, and one of the membership advisors or MAs said, "Hey, we got someone who is on the fence with signing up for a membership. Can you take them through a workout?" He's like, "Yep, of course." And they said, "Okay, the client's 400 pounds and they're not in the best of shape, 32 years old." And he's like, "All right, great. Great thing about the classes, you can reach out to us." And so him and I designed a program, and then he took the client through it. And so I thought that would be a good opportunity to talk more about training someone who would be that size. And again, this is tricky vocabulary. Obviously, the way that we're communicating here, you're not going to say with your client "Oh, hello, sir, you're morbidly obese." No, you just have to think of it as you're playing a sport and you're a coach. If you're playing with someone who's what's the sport of the day? What do we want to talk about? Anyone? Cricket. All right. Thanks. I don't know much about cricket, but someone has, they go up there and they're kicking the ground and you're like, "Whoa, cricket, you don't kick the ground." What? You're going to know that you need to scale it back. Whereas if they get up there and you throw them the ball and they absolutely crush it, then okay, I can challenge this person a little bit more. So if you have someone who comes in during this guide, you don't get 10 minutes to write out a program for them. You need to be able to do that on the fly. And so you eliminate red flags, ask about their current workout history, what's going on, anything that I should be aware of before we go through the workout. And they're going to tell you. And more times than not, it's going to be little aches and pains, shoulder, knee. I know, Dean, you said you trained someone who's 400 pounds, and Megan, you said 300 plus as well. So you guys can just talk about your story on training them and what those workouts look like. And then we'll continue to go from there. So Megan, you want to start us off?
Sure. So I trained a guy. I don't know his exact weight because our scale doesn't go that high, but he said he was over 400 pounds the last time he was at the doctor's office, and he's on doctor's orders to lose some weight. It was during COVID, so we had to wear a mask, which was very unfortunate because he was obviously deconditioned and with a mask over his face. Tried to train outside as much as we could, but really anything, it was very basic stuff. So a lot of machines sitting. Do you want me to just walk through the programs or what I would do?
Yeah, do that.
Okay. So machines, like the plate loaded machines we would do, and I would have him walk from one to another, and that would be our superset. We'd go back and forth because he would be out of breath just from walking about 50 feet. And that was part of the workout. So incorporating that and just getting like that kind of cardio in. He had a lot of pain, so a lot of things we did was very minimal, like box squats, stuff like that. Unfortunately, I didn't end up training him too long because he ended up quitting his membership. But for the few weeks I did, it was very simple exercises, very basic.
That's really creative. I like that because you obviously didn't tell him that we're going to go from A to B and the walking is going to be part of the workout. It was just part of the workout. And that's something that you thought of on the fly. And so, how Santa Monica is set up, was that on the middle floor or where was it?
That was the third floor.
Okay. So you did like a press into a pull, or what would be the example that you did?
It was a press. It was an upper body into a lower body.
All right.
And then we talked about while we're doing warm-ups that like if he was to fall on the ground, could he get up? And he's like, well, if someone was near me, yeah. And I was like, well, could you get up on your own? And he said no. So part of our warm-up was practicing getting up off the floor. I made up my own little like version of it, kind of like a Turkish get up, like starting on your belly. And that was one of the things we did.
I'm sure that's pretty tough too.
Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest findings in your mind where you asked him to complete an exercise and thinking it was fairly easy and it's just kind of like, oh shit, like this guy's in really, really bad shape?
Yeah, we were doing push-ups outside, but like elevated on the, like the terrace, the pole.
Mm-hmm.
And like 3, and it was just like it was like he just ran a mile. And I was like, I need to dial it back.
And when you dialed it back, were you asking questions with them? What were?
Yeah, we mainly just talked the sessions and like because walking from to and fro was very hard for him. Mm-hmm. Or made him out of breath. One
of the things that they will tell you on the conditioning of an individual, and something that's really impressive with sprinters and track, is when you see someone like Usain Bolt runs a sub 100, and then afterwards he does a little lap, and then he's talking to the reporters, and he's talking normal. And even though he just did something that's 100% effort, they recover very quickly. And what you will find is a very poor sign of cardiovascular health is a client's doing the warm up, or as she making the same, walking from A to B. And it's hard for us to grasp, but like legitimately the labor from the breathing will carry on for 3, 4, 5 minutes sometimes. And then they're the talk test was called. So it's like, oh, so tell us about where you're from. Oh, I grew up in, up north, and it's like, holy shit. Like, and obviously you're not saying that, you're just observing, but that's one thing that you will really learn from people who are really deconditioned, is that heart rate recoverability is what they call it. How quickly you can return back to your normal conversation pace.
Right. There's also, as you can imagine, a lot of pain. So knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, etc. And he was very set in his ways. Very like, I know my body, I know it makes me have pain. I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. So it was a lot of like trying to build trust of like, I know what I'm doing, this is going to be good for you.
How did you handle that?
I'd say let's just try it. We'll do a set, see how you feel. And he'd do a set. He's like, all right, that wasn't that bad. I wouldn't be like, well, yeah, but in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So how I just interviewed you on those questions, you can do the same for Dean, and then we'll just open it up for any questions that people have. And I'll be on the back loop, but I gotta start getting some stuff going. So mic is yours, Megan.
Cool. All right, Dean. With your how much did your client weigh?
If I can remember, this is a little while ago. If I can remember, he was started at 350, somewhere around there, 320, 350.
Did he stay with you for a while?
No, unfortunately he didn't. So I actually only did his CPT, but he was someone who just couldn't afford it. Like he was like, I want to do this so badly, but I am just not in the financial place to do this. So that kind of sucked because he was really cool too. But no, we never got to train with him fully.
Yeah. What'd y'all do for the CPT?
So yeah, for the CPT, so actually it kind of goes back to like the EcoFit when we did his blood pressure. So I think this is kind of where he like bought in. We did an interesting thing where it's like, so we measured his blood pressure. It was like 180 over 120. So just like as context too, this guy's like a construction dude. So he's pretty active already, but he's still over 300 pounds. And he was like also like 5'7", 5'8". So he was a big dude. But he was 180 over like 120. And we did like some just breathing and we got his blood pressure down to like 140 over 90. I was like, oh, so that was pretty cool to start off. And from there, he was like pretty bought in on like kind of like creating like the stress relief a little bit more so. But then going into the CPT, this dude was pretty strong. He could actually move pretty well. So obviously, like I think Chris has said too, even like you'll see some obese clients who can't move at all and others who are just like incredibly strong. He was more on the strong side of things. So still kept it relatively simple. Obviously didn't want him like put him at any risk. So I think if I can remember, again, this was a while ago, we started off with, I want to say push-ups with the Smith machine, like on the Smith machine. And he was able to do it pretty well. He actually was able to get pretty low too. And then I think we did for the hinge, just because it's way out in front, it's obviously a little bit uncomfortable. I think we went for a pull-through, a cable pull-through to hinge. And then we went into the second set, probably some type of cable row. So keeping him standing. I tried to keep him standing as much as possible. And obviously let him sit down when necessary. But that was kind of like my way of doing like the walking, was actually keeping him standing, just because he was capable of it. And then goblet squats, he was able to actually go pretty heavy. If I can remember, he actually went up to like 60 or 70 pounds, no box or anything. Like he was able to just rep it out. Again, pretty strong dude. And then I think we just finished off with some type of Metcon circuit, probably something to do with like slams, just because the dude was pretty powerful. So I wanted to see it. So yeah, that's pretty much how my workout went.
Cool. So pretty different than mine. My client could not hold weight. We were doing box. I'd have him sit on a box for our squat and just have him work on standing up. And then also any exercise that had him standing, he didn't have like good coordination to do any pulls. So it was cool that you trained someone that was strong. Do you keep in touch with him?
I didn't, unfortunately. I tried to for a little bit, and he just kind of fell off. I think he moved away because I think he lived in like so Berkeley, and Vallejo's like 40 minutes from here. So he lived all the way out there, but he was doing like construction out here. Then he had like a job in Sacramento, so it was just like all over the place, and it was just hard to keep up with him.
Oh, okay. What's your question, Ashley?
Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button. I was actually going to ask, and either one of you could answer this since it seems you both had a short time with the people that you were with. Did you do more of a core accessory kind of thing with these people just because they were so deconditioned? And did you find that was, especially I guess for you, Megan, since you actually got a few weeks, was it more helpful for you to get him to feel more comfortable and more confident when he was able to do things?
Because that might reflect on what.
Yeah, so just doing the core accessory. Yeah, I didn't have him do core accessory because that was just a little bit too much for him to handle. So I just did the two. So, or I would do a core, and then I would do accessories later. But really, for the full hour, I think I did 4 exercises. Rest breaks were very long.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious. I haven't encountered that yet at work. Everyone's been either a little older or they're more petite and they want to get stronger so far. So I was just wondering, so when I run into something like that, I could, at least think about it and assess from what we're talking about, and then, adding in my own Ashley to it,
For sure. And then like the first session you do with someone, you'll learn a lot. And like Chris was saying, sometimes when you train someone, you're like, oh, that was a little bit too much for them, and you'll have to regress. So, okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Ashley. Just core. I try to like keep like in that kind of situation, you just do the essentials, like do what you need to do, because obviously the accessories you don't inherently need to do. That's kind of like the little catch on, like Chris calls it, like for dudes, you do the bicep curls, or for the abs, or the girls, you do the glutes, right? So you don't really need that, especially if they can't keep up with it. So just stick with that core. And that's really how I program for the most part anyway, unless someone can actually handle core accessory. In my experience personally, core accessory tends to kill people way more than I need to. So usually if I can get them just do core, and if they can handle a third exercise, then I'll go for that. So I always start with core and see what they can handle from there.
Okay, awesome. I was doing that with my, I have an 82-year young client, and it seems like that helps her a little bit so far within the last week. So I wanted to see if my thinking was going in the right direction at least, or if I needed to be veered back in and guided a different way. Thank you both.
Of course. Righty, Megan, you got anything else? Oh, Tracy, question?
Hello, good morning. I was wondering, were your clients able to handle the full duration of the workout, or did you have to end up cutting that short?
Megan, you want to go first?
Yeah, so I usually program too much anyway, because I'd rather have more than enough. But for sure, like I said, he only could do maybe four exercises for the entire hour. So definitely we'll cut a lot of things short. I just prioritized what I wanted to get done in the first chunk, like what was most important, and then left the stuff that was okay to leave towards the end.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat too. I like that she said it's like prioritizing, or like kind of these are like the core, like the 3 or 4 exercises that I want to hit. And then if we can get more, we can get more. Same thing. So like if we hit those 3 or 4 exercises, like we finished the workout, whether or not that took 30 minutes or an hour, like inherently we finished it. And then from there, so Megan likes to prepare more. I actually like to prepare less and then let my creativity flow if I don't have enough. So if someone's able to get through a whole workout and I don't have anything planned, then I'm like, okay, like what do you want to do, right? And then get creative off of that. Like, it's just kind of having some fun with it as well. It makes it a little bit more challenging for myself as well.
Okay, thank you.
Where's
What's up? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Megan, were there any restrictions that you kind of found that were kind of tough to deal with? Like, and how did you kind of handle it? Like specifically, I know we talked about like knee pain, low back pain. Maybe give some like specific examples of how you handled that.
For sure, focusing on growing his glutes. So we did a lot of glute bridges that were very difficult for him to do. But so we would do a single glute bridge. He would come down. We'd do like 2 to 3 at a time, and that would put him out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
So we would wait and we'd rest for 30 seconds, and then we would crank out 3 more, rest for 30 seconds till we got to like 15, and then we would rest. So just taking it very slow and at his own pace, not being very drill sergeant-esque and being like, come on, another one, like understanding that he needs more rest. It's going to take him longer to do exercises than it would for other clients. So it's one of the things I would do, especially for his low back pain. And knee pain, I tried doing some things with him, but he was pretty stubborn on, it's hereditary, it's in my genes, I'm just going to have knee pain. I was like, all right.
Heard that one before for sure. That's cool. I actually like the glute bridge thing that you guys that you did there, because there's something involved in there that's like kind of accidental, but also kind of not. So I like the way you did that. Do you guys know what kind of set that's called? I'm gonna open this one up to the chat.
Like the pause rep? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like what Megan did for the glute bridges.
Is it a rest pause?
Yeah, that's one name. We could do rest pause, and we could also do like a just like a cluster set, that type of style. That's really cool. Cluster sets or rest pauses are really cool ways to like add more volume with a higher weight. In that case, that's really awesome because obviously he's getting exhausted with a more regressive version of an exercise of a hinge. So that way she got more volume out of the single movement, got more quality out of the single movement, and so that way she didn't have to do more on top of that. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.